In this section, we're going to talk about polynomial inequalities. So that's when we have a polynomial, and it's an inequality. So it could be less than 0, or it could be greater than, or less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to, but one of those symbols, okay, for our inequalities. Now, that's what we mean by a polynomial inequality. Let's look at this function right here. We're going to go ahead and graph that. It's quadratic, and we know a little bit about quadratic polynomials. We know it factors into x minus 2 times x minus 5. That means it has intercepts, or x-intercepts, zeros, at 2 and 5. So we're going to graph those, one at 2 and one at 3, 4, 5. Now, because of what we know about parabolas, we know this is a right side up parabola, and we know the axis of symmetry has to go through the vertex. We know the axis of symmetry has to be halfway between those two zeros. So we know it's going something like that, and we know it's right side up. Now, we know what the x value is for the vertex. It's 3.5. That's what's halfway between 2 and 5. Now, how do we figure out the y value, or the output for 3.5? You could plug it in, say f of 3.5, and you're going to go 3.5 squared minus 7 times 3.5 plus 10, and you get a calculator, you work that all out, and it turns out to be negative 2.25. Okay, so now we know where the vertex is. It's about there. And then you could find the y-intercept, easy enough. Just find f of 0, and that's going to get you 10. So you know there's a point there. And then, let's see, 2, 3, we know there's a point there. And then that gives us what the parabola looks like. Now that's what the parabola looks like. That's the graph. And we're not going to do graphing like in 2 dimensions here for this section, but I want to show you what's going on. Okay, so when we're talking about if we had that polynomial, x squared minus 7x plus 10, and we said, well, when is that less than 0? Then we're talking about these numbers, these outputs here, that are less than 0, and that's occurring between 2 and 5. So you would say the answer would be 2, 5. That would be the x values that would give you outputs less than 0. Okay? Now, let's say you want to say that x squared minus 7x plus 10 is greater than or equal to 0. Then you're talking about these outputs here and these outputs here. And so you're going to have 2 sections. You're going to have, now think about the x-axis here. You're going to have all the x values there from negative infinity up to 2. And you're going to put a square bracket because we can equal 0. So that's going to equal 2 right there. And then you're going to have union square bracket 5 to infinity. It's going to be all the x values out this way. Okay? Parenthesis. Okay, so that's the idea. That's the big idea. Like I said, we're not going to graph these so much like this, but we're going to show you a technique for solving polynomial inequalities, and we'll do that in the next video.